Hey, you guys, it's me again. Story time for my bedroom. We are here for part two. If you're here, then you probably watched my snippet of the video on IG or either on TikTok. All right, before we start the video here and we get into this story, guys, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Click the bell for notifications, give the video a thumbs up, share it if you want to, and also comment. Tell me what you think. Ooh, boy. Okay, so here we are. We're running down the alleyway, y'all. That alone was a mess. When I think about total mess, y'all, total mess. I promise you, I'm not that person now. So we're running down the alleyway, underwear in the alleyway, the whole 9 yards. Now, mind you, when we were in the house and he was blocking her, I never could see her full body. I just, saw like the shoulders on up, didn't pay it any attention or what have you. And so I find out a little bit later that I was pregnant with my first child. And then I found out a little bit later after that she was already pregnant. So if you watch the first video was called I got busted in a woman's house or something along that line. And so I didn't have anywhere to stay. So I called my grandmother. Now my grandmother, God rest her soul, lived in Indianapolis. So I called her, told her the situation, asked her if she would talk to my dad to see if I could come home. I had enough fun. It didn't turn out the way that I thought it was going to turn out. It was a whole mess. And so she talked to my dad, and my dad was adamant with his no. He wasn't budging. And so she gave me the option of coming to live in Indianapolis, which I really don't want to do because I grew up in Cincinnati. All my friends were here. I'm in love with this person, and I didn't want to go, but I had no choice. So I went to Indianapolis. So lo and behold, me and him still kept in contact. So he's calling. Now, back in that day, when you would call out of town, you would dial the number, the area code, and the number. You had to talk to the operator. If you were not putting enough money in there, you had to talk through the operator. There wasn't any cell phones. Was it cell phones? I don't know. I ain't have one. So you had to talk to the operator and you had to accept a collect call. And so he was calling me from Cincinnati. Now, I never looked at my grandmother's phone bill. I just accepted the charges. I figured he was at a phone booth. Sometimes he would call and he just went straight through. I didn't know what his situation was. I didn't know if he was using his cousin's phone or what have you. So we're talking on the phone, we're yakking. And so my grandmother approaches me maybe about a month later because she gets her phone bill and it's more than what she thought it was going to be. So I'm like, okay, Granny, I'll give you the difference of the bill. Well, when the girl there gets the phone bill, how did she find out my grandmother's phone number? I don't know how she found out my grandmother's phone number. Because he called me collect. No, when he was calling me directly, he was using her phone. So it was appearing on her phone bill. So boom, word got around that I was in Indianapolis. So she knew 317 area code is Indianapolis. That's the grandmother's phone number. So here we go with telephone harassment. Honey, let me tell you something. My grandmother and them my grandmother was probably like 68 years old. Too old for this drama that I got going on with her 19-year-old granddaughter. Her and my granddaddy were hardworking people. They had their own home. They had peace in their home. And here I come with all my drama 100 miles away causing chaos in their house. It wasn't the fact that the phone bill was high because I told her I would pay the difference. It was just the whole situation was chaotic and they were too old for that drama. But they loved me and they put up with it. My granddaddy, he would say his piece about you need to leave him alone. He used colorful words. You need to leave him alone, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And so here comes the telephone harassment from her. Day in, day out, playing on the phone, calling through the operator. Sometimes she would try to call collect and give a different name. My grandmother wouldn't accept the charges. And so she would cuss or yell something over the operator talking, and my grandmother would hear it. So my grandmother would hang up and she like, Sherry, what is going on? This is too much. I really don't want him calling here. So he was still calling and I was sneaking taking phone calls. But when my grandmother was there and the phone would ring, she would make sure, honey, she got the phone and I wasn't able to talk to him. So this one particular time, this is where my grandmother, if you would have known my grandmother, this is the most mildest, meek, beautiful woman ever in life. I'll post a picture in the video of my grandmother. So nice, so sweet. But honey, that girl wore her out. And so my dad and my mom had came up to visit me. And we were all in the family room. And here the phone goes ringing. So my dad, not aware of all the telephone harassment, picks up the phone. And she cusses my dad out. And so he hung up the phone. And I was like, what was that? And he told me, it was like, some girl cussed me out. I don't, whatever. I knew it was her. So I called her, y'all. And I told her, I said, I don't care if you cuss him out. He can handle his own business. Because me and my dad are estranged. So I said, but the first time you get smart with my grandmama, I'm going to beat you, and you already know. Hung up the phone. She didn't call back that day. A little bit time later, maybe, I don't know how, 2-3 days, whatever later, she called. And she said something slick to my grandmother. And my grandmother hung up the phone. And I said, Granny, what did she say? And she told me. So I called her back. And I said, you just got your A beat. I'm coming down there this weekend. And I'm going to be bleep, bleep, bleep. I looked at my grandmother. I said, I'm going to pay you. Drop me off in Cincinnati. A 68-year-old woman. Baby. Drama. All in the name of love, lust, or whatever. So that Saturday morning, me and my grandmother gets up. And honey, she cranked up that good old Grand Marquis White that was brand new when she bought it off the showroom floor, honey. And she said, well, hold on, I need to make a phone call. And I'm like, okay. So my grandmother had this can. And on the can was like this little fog looking thing. It was plastic, but it was like this. It was a boat horn. I don't know if you ever seen it, but when you blow it, it'd be like, burn. It was a boat horn. She called the girl on the phone. She ain't do a collect. She called direct on the phone. It had to be about 7 in the morning. So me and her are like this on the phone. Me and my grandmother. She done get, my grandma pulled out a little bit of ratchet. Y'all, 68 years old. She pulled out all pettiness right there. That was Petty Maddie that day. So she picked up the phone. I won't say what her name is. Picked up the phone. And she was, hello. And my grandma said, burn. And hung up the phone and said, let's go. I said, Grandma Hood, baby, y'all better quit playing with Maddie around this piece. Honey, she took me to Cincinnati, dropped me off, baby, in the hood like the government drop off unmarked boxes full of guns in the Chicago street, baby. I had already called my friend and told her, I need to stay with you for the weekend. And she didn't know. She was like, cool, come on down. Let's, hang out or whatever. Honey, she didn't know I was coming down there on an agenda. I understood the assignment. I was on an assignment, honey. I wasn't really coming to see her. That was just a bonus. But I was coming to fight that girl, y'all. Mind you, I'm 7 months pregnant. Don't judge me, y'all. I was 18, 19. Don't judge me, y'all. I was 7 months pregnant. I told my grandmama, go to, call down the Greyhound and give me a return bus ticket on Sunday. Back then, you could call on the phone and give me your credit card number and get bus tickets, order clothes, and all that different stuff. They went all this credit card security that they got now. So she drops me off. So he already know I'm in town. The first day, which was Saturday, we didn't link. We didn't link. I couldn't find her. I didn't see her. So I just visited all my little friends and my family that was down that way. I didn't go see my mama child because I was on a mission. 7 months pregnant. And so this one day, I don't know how many days I was down there. This one day, I'm at my friend's house. So my friend apartment is 2 floors. I'm on the 4th floor. Me and her hanging out the window, looking. And so this was on Race Street. If you know Cincinnati, it's Race Street, down by Finley Market. And so he comes around the corner in this little bitty black Pinto with all this music blaring. So he's coming to see me. So we sitting up there talking, yicking and yakking from out the window. I really ain't there to see you. I'm there to fight. And so probably about 10 minutes later, I don't even know why I didn't go downstairs and talk to him. 10 minutes later, I see her walking down the street. And I'm like, y'all, halfway out the window, 4th floor. So she looked that way because first she heard the music of his bumping. And one thing about him, he loves music, loves to bump music, and it sounds really good. I got to give him props for that. Sounds really good. So she sees him. Then she hears this woman hollering. She look up and it's me, and I'm in the window. 7 months pregnant, y'all. So he driving off because you busted again. He driving off. So he go around the corner from Race Street and turns on Finley Street. If you know Cincinnati, it's Finley Street right by the market. I could still hear his music, so he must have stopped. So she runs up there to the car. Now, I don't know what they got going on around that corner, y'all, but it was popping off. And the reason why I knew it was popping off was because a big crowd of people started running to see what the commotion was. I told my friend Linda, I said, let's go, boo. And so she was like, don't fight, Sherry. Don't. I said, girl, bad. It's over for that. You ain't gonna talk me off this wall because I've been down here for about 2 days and I'm about to get this shit popping. So I'm running down the steps, you guys, going up the street around the corner, my friend in tow. I look, what was he? She was holding on to the side of the car. And he's driving off and she's still on the side of the car holding the handle. I'm like, is he dragging her up the street? So she gets up, I guess, kind of discombobulated or whatever it is. And there's a crowd of people. I'm trying to get to through the people because we still, baby, that was you and him fight. Me and you ain't went toe to toe because you done got smart with Maddie, baby. And one thing you ain't gonna do is get smart with Maddie. Gotta rest her beautiful soul, honey. So she's come walking through the crowd, and I was like, what was that you said? Y'all, my finger was like this. What was that you said to my grandma, to my granny? Shit, this what she said. Y'all, I could drop this file. I don't even want to fight you. I said, yes, you do. But it was on and popping. I said, oh, we're not talking our way out of this. We're not having a peaceful moment right now. I done came 100 miles, got my old senior citizen grandma out her bed, blew a boat horn in your ear, get dropped off in the hood, baby. It's on. Boop, 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 boop. Baby, it's on. All I know is, baby, we was stomping. One thing about me, I don't know how to slam nobody. I ain't never mastered that part. I don't know what it is why I can't slam nobody. But I could sling you like you got slammed. And I slung her mother loving tail. We was up against the wall for a minute. Then we went over there by the street. Child, I don't know what was going on. All I know is I was winning that sucker. So I end up slinging her so hard, she fell. Now, mind you, she fell on her back. And she fell like part on the sidewalk. The other part was hanging off the curb. And so I'm on top of her, honey, and my arm done came up out of my shirt. My shirt must have came up, and I heard people in the crowd, the girl on top pregnant. And so I stood up, because I'm going to stomp you now. Pause. I'm so glad I didn't stomp her, y'all. Because the angle of her head and her neck to that curve, y'all, it could have been bad. So I heard some, but when you fighting, you ain't thinking about that stuff. I'm thinking about I'm going to get you. And so I went foot in midair on that, about ready to stomp that neck. And I heard somebody yell, here come the police. Well, gotta go. Sure ain't trying to get no criminal record. And I sure ain't trying to get locked up pregnant. I'm not having my baby up in Marysville in no prison again now. No. So I didn't stomp her. And I got up. Me and my friend went back in the house. And honey, by that time I was ready to go home. I done did what I need to do. And so I found out after that, I think she tried to go to work. And the manager told her, you can't be in here with your face like that. And sent her home. Y'all, I got back on that bus. I don't even know if I seen him or not. I got back on that bus, probably whatever day it was. And no, I take that back. I had to call my grandmother and tell her what day I was coming back for her to call Greyhound and reserve the ticket, because she didn't know what time I was coming back. Y'all, I got on up. Me and my friend went upstairs. We bust out laughing. Went on about my business. Went home. She didn't bother me. No. After that, y'all, I think I moved back to Cincinnati. Was living in a condemned building. Girl, it was a mess. That's a whole other story. After that, I don't think she really bothered me after that. But at that particular time, I was 7 months pregnant. She had already had her baby. Yeah. And that's my stepdaughter. And she my friend on Facebook. And she called me Mama Sherry. Mama. I love her. A mess. And that wasn't all of it. This last video I'm going to do, gonna shake you. Y'all, I'm going to post a picture of my beautiful daughter, the one that was in my stomach when I was fighting. God knows I love her. And she told me, she said, that's why the back of my head flat, because you was out there fighting. I said, girl, the back of your head was flat because I kept laying. I ain't mowed your head and I kept laying you on the bed. Quit playing. But this is a picture of my beautiful daughter and my beautiful grandmother. My grandmother is the one on the left-hand side. You guys, thanks for listening to my story time from the bedroom. It'll be another video posted about some drama. Thanks so much for tuning in to the channel, subscribing, the support, the comments, all of that different stuff. If you want, follow me on Facebook. I'm under I Love to Giggle too. I Love to Giggle on Facebook. Under Instagram and TikTok, it is I Love to Giggle too. Have a great evening, and I will see you guys again from the bedroom with another story. It'll be a part 3. Honey, be ready for it. Have some popcorn or a drink or something. Bye.